Hey, my Web3 fellow citizens, welcome back to the Envelop podcast, where we dive into the state-of-the-art of practices and methods that define how Web3 projects are built, grown, and led, and what they reveal about the current stage of the evolution of the decentralized internet. I'm your host, Eugene, aka Crypto MC, and today I'm sitting with Matan Doyich. He's serial investor, entrepreneur, and CEO at TeFi, and TeFi is a comprehensive DeFi platform that integrates growth opportunities and seamless asset management into a single user-friendly ecosystem. So DeFi learners, this is episode for you. So Matan, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. Looking forward.
Well, so let's start with your journey into Web3. It's always interesting how our guest came into this amazing space. So could you share your way into Web3 and how it ultimately led to the creation of TeFi?
Yeah, so actually it's a very funny story how I started with this space. It was a few years ago, I was 6 years ago now, approximately. I really wanted to buy Minecraft for my phone. It was like $7 and I had only $2. And I asked my mother and she was like, it was a time of like uncertainty, like a financial situation in my country. And then it was like, no, we're not spending money on like those kind of things. I just was like, okay, I need to be like independent. And I searched on YouTube how to make money online and into the rabbit hole pretty much. On my journey the past 6 years, was fortunate enough to do very well and join a very good time for the market. And it was pretty easy to make a lot of money. I think everybody been here for like 2 cycles feel like they had multiple opportunities where felt like very easy to succeed. It's much more saturated now, but I think we're still pretty early. But anyway, while I was doing that, I'm 24. I was started when I was 18, and we started with that kind of thing, and then you like make good money for your age, and people around you ask you like what you do, etc. And then I really like people, and I basically kind of ended up onboarding like 500 people to the crypto space in like 6 years. This was actually very useful since thanks to the fact that I was constantly onboarding people, I didn't got to get used to the crypto complexity. For us now in crypto space for like a couple cycles, we think, yeah, gas fees, seed phrases, different chains, etc., like different token standard, like it's all sounds so logical, but it's such a fragmented experience. I actually met someone from I had a call with yesterday with someone from Canada. And he told me I always say like the crypto is like Canada, where you come to pay, you see a beer, it's $10, and then they charge you like $12.50 for city taxes, and then you have to leave like $2 more for tip, and you just ask me for $14.50 instead of like showing me 10 and then like making my life so complicated. So I think it's very similar to what we think of today, right? You want to spend money and then it costs you, but then it's even worse because different tokens, different chains. It's so complex and so constantly, like almost on a daily basis, people that have helped getting into the space having hard time with it. And I really tried to find a solution, and there was really no one doing it the right way and doing it in a holistic way. And there are a lot of parts there where if you only do it for the money inside of it, then there are stuff that doesn't worth spending the resources for. But I think it's a small detail that matters truly. Since we really came from like, I saw personal pains of a lot of people, then it was important to me to do it, from the get-go, the right way, the holistic approach. Yeah, this is basically how we came to make DeFi. It's basically like creating a super app that's give you everything you need in crypto in one place. Everything is integrated under a unified interface and everything is aggregated. So you always get the best rates and the best routes. And you also always get the best, best user experience because you never get redirected. It doesn't matter, for example, how good MetaMask UX/UI is and how good Aave UX/UI is. And they're both very good. Aave even better, in my opinion, but MetaMask is trying to improve now at least. So it's the fact that you need to move from one to another, assuming you even know they exist, and you need to have, you need to have this struggle of getting used to different user experiences. It's really something that's destroying the user experience. So it's very important part that, we have everything under a unified interface. And on top of that, we build a layer of abstraction. So no seed phrases, no chain fragmentation, no gas fees. All those things I think really is very, very important to the crypto space. I think I would say my team, there are 4 parts that's like destroying the user experience in DeFi currently, which is seed phrases, chain fragmentation, gas fees, and the terminology. So, for example, you look, I don't want to like trash talk semi-competitors, but it's a good example, so I'll use it. But for example, Infinix is trying to be super app, right? And they have this abstracted wallet. So you don't even have the option to seed phrases, which in my opinion is not good. I think you should be not mandatory, but you still need to have the option. But don't have the option. And we say that swap and bridge are terminology that is hard for newcomers. So they have the whole new terminology. They call it switch, right? Which combining swap and bridge. And which might be a cool gimmick, but it's how do you expect to onboard Web2 like that? So, for example, like we started 6 months ago working with, in my opinion, the best UX UI company in the world. They call Make Inside. They designed Siri for Apple, Robinhood, Spotify, and a lot of very, very successful, good user experience, big brands. When we do it with them, for example, we understood that people usually never come to swap, right? You never come to swap. You never want to, I want to swap it for this. No, you come to buy or you come to sell. And then, so for example, if you look at that normal swaps, right? When you have the, for example, you press buy and then you press like what you buy it with or the sell, then first of all, they're always the same size and they always have, all of them shows all the tokens. And so why would you do that? We really try to nail down and look very deep inside what the user expects when he comes to a certain platform, to a certain element of the platform, to a certain screen, to a certain action. What does he need? And you know, okay, one last competitor example is OKX Wallet. We're trying to be like a you know, your everything DeFi. They kind of just saying, you know, screw user experience. We're just gonna give you everything, right? And then you come to the point where you look at yield, go to the earn, you look at yield, and then on the yield you have like 50 different stable coins, right? Which is crazy. And then you come to USDT, and then you have like 25 different strategies. And like the lowest one there is like 0.01%. Like, why do you even have them? I'm just trying to have everything all the time. It is really helping the user experience, and it's very hard to not do it when you're building a super app, right? It's saying like, because there is a sentence in consumer behavior psychology that you say like, do everything and be appealing to no one, right? It's like when you see a shampoo in the supermarket, which says like 4-in-1, 5-in-1, etc., or you see like this is a shampoo that's relevant only for people with dark blonde hair on their mid-40s. They say, oh, wow, if I have a dark blonde hair in my mid-40s, this must be so good for me specifically. Like you assume, right, if you're doing something they're very good at this specific thing. It's very hard to avoid those kind of like the opposite perspective when you're doing a super app. So it's very, very important to take the best in the industry to really only show you things the moment you need them and not overwhelming and have that. Yeah, and it's going to be live in 2 months. It's going to be super exciting. Very looking forward to it. But yeah, that's DeFi on one leg. It was a very long intro, but
now, probably you have done this extremely well. So you have sold TFI, needless to say, to all the DeFi users that they may find the link in the description and go check and try to use TFI with a cup of tea, a cup of coffee. How big now is TFI in numbers, users, chains? What numbers must we know before diving into TFI?
By the way, to remind me to share it. But do you have a question later on why do we name it TFI? Because I love sharing that story. I think not enough people know it. So basically, there is an old ritual of the Vikings when they do cheers, right? And the two glasses collide, and then the liquid between them is mixing. It's kind of to show the other side that didn't poison his cup, etc. But this concept of two pools of liquid that have this liquid switch between them is actually very similar to how swap works in indexes. Our first core product was a swap. It actually was called T-Swap a while ago. So that's why we went with a drink. Then from going with a drink, we went to go with a drink that represent like all people, something that, like it's easy to do, something that is very like, you know, everybody can do it. It's very, very simple and went with T for that. We actually, T stands for the everything app, which is kind of cool.
So that's a great metaphor, visual metaphor when two cups of beer, I think, or tea collide and liquids makes us amazing. So I ask you about numbers. How many users now, chains, whatever numbers we should understand before using the TFI?
Actually, in terms of users, we really saw very big adoption from the community, even on the beta product, which in my opinion is the unique value proposition is not there enough. Like the traffic is actually amazing. We live for 8 months. We have over 3 million wallets connected to the platform, over 20 million on-chain transactions, over like around 30,000, 25 to 30,000 on-chain daily active users, unique. We are currently the biggest protocol on Katana in terms of daily active users, unique active wallets, and gas fees on the chain. Our users alone paid over $1 million in Polygon POS fees, which the fees there are a fraction of a cent. So it's insane. And yeah, we support over 40 blockchains, but it's like Polygon, Katana are really the core for us. And then Ethereum, Base, Arbitrum, BNB chain, Avalanche a bit also second tier. And below that, we haven't really done any marketing efforts. It's really like it's less than 0.1% for all of the rest of the chains together. But on like we are very considered on the chain that we are considered of. Yeah.
Well, this has been a great part. Congratulations, and we just wish you the further success and how this episode will help you attract new users. Could you explain, please, the concept of protocol-aligned apps, or PAA, how it works and what benefits that bring bots to users and to the underlying protocol?
It was very important for us to create a sort of financial model that is going to be sustainable. I'm not going to dive too deep into it right now because I don't want to lose the people. But it's a Frankenstein between what Katana is doing, what Olympus DAO has done, what Curve Finance has built, the concept of flying tulip that Andrew, the founder of Sonic and Yearn Finance, introduced not so long ago. We kind of created this, took the best of everything. We adapted it and also actually at some level also added elements to our ecosystem, make it make more sense and make it even work even better. And a very integral part of this is the teapot and the PAAs. So teapot stands for the Everything App Protocol Owned Treasury. It's basically liquidity that's owned by the protocol. Like majority of the revenue forever from all the products of the protocol, and also for all the PAAs, which is protocol aligned applications, which like basically protocols that decided to plug into this ecosystem. We raised Teapot, and then 50% of all the revenue from our products and all the PAA products are basically flowing into the Teapot. The Teapot liquidity is never distributed, and it only generates yield. And this yield then coming to generate basically constant buying pressure. So all these yields go towards buyback. This buyback is then redistributed to our users and the PAA users via the T drops, which last one I promise, T drops stands for the Everything Up Dynamic Redistribution on PAAs and services. So I love acronyms. But anyway, we already have 3 PAAs actually that are being built right now, all of them with very, very strong partners. I just have a call this a couple hours ago with potentially 2 new companies that we might make the first PAAs that are completely independent of like us, but not us founded them, or at least partially founded them, which could be very interesting and could be the first step to actually scaling this ecosystem for infinity. And I think also in terms of the T token, like they're all adopting the T token as the standard, right? And then you come to the point where if you look at DeFi, right, what's the biggest? Uniswap, let's say. I'm not sure if there's someone bigger. Maybe Apple Liquid now, but not really doing DeFi, to be honest. It's just letting people gamble and deposit on chain, but pair trading is not really on chain, not like spot trading. Let's say Uniswap. Uniswap worth like $5 billion, which is a lot. And then you say, okay, if you can only tap into 10% of that, I'm gonna be worth $500 million, which is amazing, right? But when you start talking about the ecosystem and start talking about like a lot of tokens, a lot of different protocols on different chains, right? You're also chain agnostic. You get to this point where the point of comparison is not Uniswap, is ecosystems. And the biggest ecosystem is Ethereum, right? Is 500 billion. Now 10% of that is 50 billion, which is much more interesting. We also do this interesting concept, like, and you're familiar with N1?
Indeed, I think.
Just for the viewers that don't know, it's basically the permission blockchain, and they're building, I love the founder. He has great content on X. If you're watching it, thank you, I love following you. I think founders' content on X is my favorite context. It always looks like personal pain and great insights. Not mine. Mine is like shit posting. But other founders, basically it's a permission chain And this chain is, you need to have allowance to build on it, and you cannot have your own token. So all the protocols on the chain uses the native token chain. It's taking forever to launch. It's really a nightmare at this point. They're like 3 years on the building now, but it's very, very, very interesting, and I really love the concept of that. So imagine all the protocols on Ethereum was using Ethereum as their native token. It's insane. So yeah, that's basically where we aim to get PAAs on one leg.
How do you see the main challenges, let's say three main challenges for all the Web3 ecosystem in the state of fall 2025, and especially in particular for DeFi segment, probably for DeFi protocols, founders, and users? Your vision?
I think obviously, like macroeconomically, funding is very hard at the moment. One of the main advantages that we can offer our PAAs is we are pretty well funded, and this is like an easy added value, right? I think the second one, I'm not sure what the third one, by the way, maybe regulation, but I don't know. But the second one is in 2021, we were crazy. DeFi was insane. Every other week, you would hear this new protocol. Like, for example, Olympus DAO, right? We talk about them, I love them, I research them so much. They launched on 2021. By the way, they're the second most forked protocol in history after Uniswap, which is insane in my opinion. People don't know that. They have they started with this concept. They were so brilliant and accurate on the small details. It blew up so much, gained like $500 million in TVA in like 2 weeks. And then people start forking it and forking and taking an extreme version. And we were crazy. And now I feel like the best thing about the crypto space and the reason it's grown so much and why it's such an amazing opportunity is because there was legitimacy for experimentation. I feel this legitimacy is have decreased significantly, unfortunately. People got hurt from experiments and now there are like, less. We have bad experiments, right? Luna, for example, was a bad experiment. And now try sell to an investor algorithmic stablecoin, right? Not an easy job after Ethereum.
Mm-hmm.
I think every segment got their own like one bad example and it really killed, almost like not killing, you cannot kill it, but it depressed the innovation of DeFi space, which was the best thing about it. It was like a sandbox. By the way, if you're watching it and you have an innovative DeFi protocol, would love to make your PAA, help you scale. I think that's number 3, probably regulation. It's pretty scary. The moment you grow, right now with Trump it's easier, but still people are so scared. Yeah, it's probably also something that's huge innovation, but as its own, it's like as the standalone is also like a pretty big problem that's hovering across the whole space. We don't really have enough clarity.
Well, thank you for your viewpoint. Let me ask you about one more sophisticated concept, which you, as we know, have been familiar with. I mean, the concept of Web3 indexes, which in particular DAO Envelop implemented a couple years ago. We encourage all the projects look at that concept and build product on this layer of the solution. How do you envision the role of crypto indexes in the ecosystem, and what led you personally and your team to the conclusion of this role of indexes? Why you attracted your attention on this concept?
So I think it is an amazing product. I'm shocked there is no dominant index product out there. We started before DeFi we were T-Swap. Before that, we called crypto index. And we actually attempted this. In my opinion, we were slightly too early and the market was just getting euphoric for the bull run. We attempted the centralized type of route, but it's something on my pipeline. Like I will build the index and I will make it decentralized and I will make it a PAA. So it's something I think the space really needs. I need it. I would love to buy, all right, like a good index that's like for the top 20 or 50. I think it's very hard to choose a winner, especially in this super saturated market. I think it's a must-have. I'm shocked there isn't.
Well, finally, Matan, let me ask you about your plans, roadmap, whatever you have to say to all our viewers. What resources do you need? What competence, money, users, and so on and so forth? Make all call to actions for potential DeFi users. Whatever you have to say, you must say now as the CEO of the project.
So I will say 2 things. The first thing I would love to say is I would love for people to. So we are in a huge growth stage, right? We just hired last 2 weeks. We hired 6 more developers. Team is currently over 30 people. I was just in Singapore. Last year in Singapore was 7 people. Now we are 34. We're really scaling fast and working very fast, and we have a lot in pipeline. And as a result of that, there is a lot of bugs in the platform, and I would love for community members, etc., and people outside the community to come test the platform, share their experiences, give their recommendation. We are very, very open to community feedback, and we adapting very, very quickly, basically to hang tight in there, because very, very soon this is going to be the best looking platform you ever seen and the best experience you ever felt. For the builders out there, it's so hard. The heavy lifting of the beginning is so hard. If you think that you have the vision, you have a good vision, and you have the tolerance to stand against the stress on all the route, on the way there, we would love to get in touch with you early on to see this vision, to align with it, and to help make it a reality. I think our value proposition for early stage good startups is enormous. Would love to put it on a test.
Well, it has been an extremely interesting speech of the founder and CEO who's by his heart and mind involved in job that he's been doing with his team. Thank you very much, Matan, for explaining what is DeFi. Guys, needless to say that all the links are in the description. Just go check, try if you are a DeFi user or a potential DeFi user. Onboard people, because marketing from word of mouth works. In Web3, onboarding is a very hard, tough question, but onboarding from P2P, that's P2P sphere where you encourage people and they enjoy it because they are such a fans like you. That's all for today's episode of the Envelop podcast, where we explore the state of the art in Web3 practices and methods, in particular in DeFi in this episode, and try to understand the evolution of the decentralized internet in the DeFi segment. My name is Eugene Cryptocurrency, and I was sitting with Matan Doyich, the CEO of TeFi, not confusing with DeFi, TeFi, T when you drink tea, not beer, not coffee, but TeFi. So on, guys, until next episode, keep building, keep learning, and keep shaping the future of Web3. Bye-bye. Blockchain. BLOCK chain. Digital money, smart contracts, NFT, IDO, decentralization, transparency. So many opportunities, but so many challenges. Some financial manipulators, by their actions, confuse blockchain solutions and block their development. The idea that the blockchain should bring copyright and royalties protection to the next level is quite old, but the realizations of these ideas are not perfect at all. There is another problem of determining the value of a particular cryptocurrency or NFT. These and other problems need to be solved. Fortunately, the blockchain infrastructure is evolving. My name is E, Mr. E, and I represent the Envelop project. Many things have already been invented in the blockchain today. Tokens, smart contracts, platforms for creating your own coins, NFTs, exchanges for buying, selling, and exchanging all these blockchain resources. Envelop is another step in the development of crypto technologies. The protocol that works with NFT and cryptocurrencies. The idea is simple but disruptive. Let's assume you have an NFT, Bitcoin and Ethereum. Using the Envelop protocol, you can wrap the original NFT accompanied with several tokens. Technically, you get a similar NFT, but what is the breakthrough here? Once wrapped, the token has a number of additional features that were not available before. The minimal cost appears. It is provided with coins wrapped together with NFT. An asset wrapped with Envelop has a number of properties that allow the original author to receive royalties from the resale of that asset. Various rules can be applied to the wrapped token. For example, a lock period for unwrapping. It secures the asset till the determined moment or safeguards it from speculation during the hype period. At the same time, wrapped tokens can be transferred and traded. These are just some of the scenarios for using Envelop. NFTs become more popular, and the tools provided by Envelop expand the opportunities of NFTs utilization. Wide application possibilities are achieved due to the fact that, in addition to the protocol, the project includes a number of subsystems. The protocol provides functions wrapping and unwrapping. Oracle Mechanics provides asset valuation using analytical algorithms.
Index provides a summary assessment of several NFT assets with the common criteria. The project has its own token, which connects all elements of the system. Altogether, this is Envelop, a tool in the blockchain world for building modern and secure systems in various fields. Find more info about the project on the website. Envelop. Make your NFT valuable. Just practical, no hype.